part 4 in my woodworking tool series, Chisels. Now, before I begin, I just want to say that it's probably become obvious by now that all these videos are improv. I mean, I have an idea of what I want to say, but I don't actually write anything down. I just go off the top of my head. Sometimes it's good, but it does lead to mistakes. Like in the first video where I kept taking the lever cap and cap iron off the planes. The second one on block of special purpose planes, I forgot to mention my rebate plane. And in the saw video, I forgot to mention that the teeth on crosscut saws are filed at an angle to the tooth, as opposed to rip saws, which are filed straight across. So, I do ask for your patience and your kindness. It would be more professional if I did actually write a script out and studied it, but somehow that just seems really pretentious. Especially since I have no illusions of this going anywhere, of being the next Norm Abrams or Roy Underhill, and really that's not even a goal of mine. Anything, my goal is to be the next Gene Hoglan or Mike Portney or Dave Lombardo. So, anyhow, enough with the intro. We'll get on with it. With most tools, sometimes it helps to break them down to their most basic component. A plane is nothing more than a device that holds a cutting iron at a set angle and depth for the consistent removal of wood. A saw is nothing more than a steel blade with triangular teeth filed into it for the severing of wood fibers. And now for those two tools, the definition is accurate but a bit esoteric. With chisels, you know exactly what you're dealing with right away. It's a blade that's beveled on one side, flat on the other, affixed to a handle. It's a blade with a handle. There's no reducing it any further. There's no guessing. It's just there. It's one of the most simple tools to describe and use. Probably the only easier one is a hammer, which I'll be getting to those next. Chisels have multiple functions. They can be used to slice away small strips of wood. That action is called paring. Or they can be used to remove large chunks of wood, which is called chopping. Chisels run in a variety of sizes. Most of your commercial wood chisels come in sizes ranging from a quarter of an inch to 2 inches, or 6 mil to 50 mil. Some manufacturers make chisels that are 1/8 of an inch, 3 mil. Some stop at an inch or 25 mil. But usually that's what you're dealing with. The standard size, 1/4 to 2, or 6 to 50. Now, while the design of the chisel is straightforward, That simple design can be modified for a wide variety of purposes. First, you have the basic chisel. This is the bench. This is the bench chisel. Um, the bench chisel is like the jack plane. It's an all-purpose chisel that you can use for chopping, paring, dovetail, mortises, um, tenons. It's an all-over tool. Um, and this is actually the first chisel I ever dealt with. This style right here. When I went to Votech for carpentry and cabinetry, this was the style of chisel that they had. And when somebody says close your eyes and think of a chisel, this is what comes to mind. And these are basically the only, if you're only going to have one type of chisel, bench chisels are really the only ones you need. Next in the line are dovetail chisels. Dovetail chisels have longer blades, and the sides are smaller. That allows them to fit into the size of dovetails to clean them out. Next, we have a mortise chisel. A mortise chisel usually is square, whereas the bench chisel and the dovetail chisel have angle size. The mortise chisel is basically just square. And this is to help create a nice square mortise. Because if you had an angle side, the wood grain could take the angle and move your chisel blade, making the end out of the square. That's why the mortise chisels have the square sides. Now, after that, you get more specialty chisels. For instance, these are skew chisels. Called skew chisels because they have a skew on them. The blade is angled, and in fact they come in sets. Now these I actually ground myself. I bought 2 sets of long blade bench chisels, and then I just tapered the blades. This helps you to clean out the waste in half-blind dovetails. It just allows you just to get into the corners and clean everything out. Now while most chisels come in a wide variety of sizes, sometimes you might need one that you just can't find. So what you can do there is get a secondary set. You can actually grind them down to the width you need. This here is a set of chisels I made for mortising that are in off sizes, that fall in between the normal ones, like a quarter, 3/8. This would be yeah, whatever falls. Sorry, brain freeze. Like 5/16. That off sizes that you may not use that often, but still might come up every once in a while. Now, I will caution you, if you are going to change your chisels by either grinding them down to a off size or by skewing them, you may be voiding your manufacturer's warranty, which means if it breaks, you will not be able to return it. That way, if you're going to do it, please know what you're doing, and if you have any doubts, take in, buy an old set from a flea market, or better yet, a garage sale. You can get a nice set of chisels cheap, and if they break, pay like a couple bucks for them. So, now, the chisel design can be further modified. These are called carving chisels. Sorry, stammer there. And what carving chisels are used for? Carving, creating shapes and sculptures. Now, technically, a chisel that has a bow in it, a scoop, is called, like this, it's called a gouge. But really, it's just a curved chisel. Another thing, another variation, are turning chisels. These are used with a lathe, and they're used to create turn work. Uh, Door handles, knobs, Christmas ornaments, legs for tables. So from a very simple design, you can get a wide variety of functions from them. They are a very good multi-purpose tool. Um, and when used right, you can even square up timbers with them. I never have, and I probably never will because I own planes, a joiner, and a planer. And if all those break down, I think it's a message for me to stop woodworking. But all those are your standard chisels. A set like that will take care of anything you can do in regular woodworking. And so that's about it. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time for Hammers and Mallets.